In this video, we will learn about tuple. Tuple is a basic data structure in Python, and it is used to store collection of homogeneous or heterogeneous elements. When we go for a tuple, a single tuple may contain data type like integer, float, string, as well as other objects. And this tuple is an ordered collection. That means that all the elements in the tuple have a definite order. Tuple is also an index data structure. We can access all the elements in the tuple with the help of the index. The first index starts with 0, and this tuple allows duplicate values. So all these points are similar to list. Now let's see how a tuple is going to differ from a list. List is a mutable data structure. That means after creating a list, we can add the element, we can delete the element, and we can update the element in the list. And this is not possible in tuple. We will say that tuple is an immutable data structure. Once tuple is created, we can't change or add or remove the elements. And list is created using square bracket. Tuple is created using parentheses. Now let's see how to create a tuple. I'm going to create a tuple called fruits, which contains 4 elements. So I'm going to enclose all these elements in parentheses. Now let me print fruits and then type of fruits, then length of fruits. So type fruit and length fruit are nothing but I'm using the functions. When I print fruits, I'm getting 4 elements, which is printed in parentheses. And type of fruit is going to give class as tuple because it is an object of the class tuple. And length of fruit is going to give how many elements are there in the tuple. Here we have basically 4 elements, so we are getting 4. And nested tuple is tuple inside another tuple. We can create nested tuple as given here. So the outer tuple contains 2 elements. The 2 elements are nothing but again tuples. So the first inner tuple contains 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second inner tuple contains 5, 6, 7, 8. So when I print, I am getting nested tuple. Tuple 4 is created with one element 5. I am printing tuple and type of tuple 4. 4 is now 5. It is not a tuple because no parenthesis here. It is simple integer. And type of tuple 4 is printed as class integer. Whenever we want to create tuple with one element, write a colon after the element. Now tuple 4 is printed and type of tuple 4 is also printed. We are getting this as a tuple and class tuple as the type. And we can even create tuples without the parenthesis also. So here tuple 5 is created and printed. It is without parenthesis. But all the elements in the tuple should be separated from each other by means of comma. And coming to the operations are very similar to the list. So we can have tuple membership by means of in and then not in. Then we can perform concatenation and repetition in a tuple. And unpacking is also possible. We can access the elements in the tuple with the help of indexing. When we go for a nested tuple, we should go for nested indexing. And we can even perform slicing to extract a range of elements from the tuple. And we can iterate over the tuple by means of for loop. And using the tuple enumeration also, we can do that. And in case of tuple, we have 2 built-in methods. One is index, another is count. We can find out what are the methods available for this tuple class by means of dir tuple. When we do print of dir tuple, we will get all the methods available in this. If you consider, it has only 2 built-in methods, count and then index. When we go for the built-in methods of list, we had so many methods we have already seen: append, clear, copy, then count, extend, index, and so on. Many of these methods are not available in tuple. The reason is tuple is an immutable data structure. Many of these methods are related to inserting the elements, deleting the elements, and modifying the elements. Since tuple is an immutable data structure, we don't have all these methods. We have only 2 methods in the tuple. If you want clear explanation about all these methods, kindly refer to the list. The link is given in the description box. We cannot change the elements in the tuple once they have been assigned, but we can assign one tuple to different values. That is nothing but to the same variable name, we can go for reassignment. If the element of a tuple is a mutable data type like list, then those nested items can be changed. First, I'm creating tuple 1 and printing tuple, printing ID of tuple. So ID of tuple is going to print me the memory location. Now, when I try to modify the value of the second index by assigning tuple 1 of 2 is equal to 15, I am getting error. The error is type error. Tuple object does not support item assignment because it is immutable data structure. But Already we have tuple 1. To this tuple 1, we can reassign a new list. So in this, I'm assigning a new list to this tuple 1. That is possible. But if you consider, when I print the memory address of this particular tuple, it is not same as the previous address. Even though the name of the tuple is same, tuple 1 here as well as here also tuple 1, the memory address is different. That means when you are trying to reassign, a new object will be created and the memory address will be stored in this particular reference. And let's come to the point, mutable tuple nested elements can be modified. So here in the outer tuple, I have 3 elements. The first element is a list and the second element is also a list, whereas the third element is a tuple. So it's not that in the nested tuple, all the elements should be either tuples or list. We can have any type of heterogeneous elements. So now I'm trying to access in the tuple 3 at the index 0. Outer index is 0. That means I'm going to access the first nested element. In that, the inner index is 1. So inside this, I'm going to access the second element, which is at the index 1. It is 2 now. I'm trying to change that to 5. I'm printing it. Now I'm getting the answer, which is updated. Instead of the first element being 1, 2, 3, it's now printing as 1, 5, 3. So we are able to modify the mutable elements in the nested tuple. In the same example, I'm trying to modify this particular 5. If you consider 5 is an element in a tuple, so this is not possible even though this is a nested element. I already told you here only mutable nested elements can be modified. Tuple is not a mutable nested element, so we cannot modify this particular element. So when I write tuple 3 of 2, 1 is equal to 7, I'm getting the error. Error is type error. It is saying that tuple object does not support item assignment. Why it is written as 2, 1 is this particular element 6, 5 can be accessed by specifying the outer index 2 because in the outer tuple, this is appearing at the index 2. And the inner index is 1. When I reach this particular tuple, I can access 5 by specifying 1. Considering deleting elements from a tuple, we cannot delete individual elements from a tuple. However, we can delete the entire tuple using the keyword del. In case of list, we can delete even individual elements, but here it is not possible. So here I have tuple 1, which contains 5 elements. When I try to delete the element at the index 3 by means of del keyword, I'm getting error. It's saying that tuple object does not support item deletion. You can't delete a particular element from a tuple, but we can delete the entire tuple by means of the del keyword. Here I am deleting the tuple by del tuple 1. After that, I am printing tuple 1. Here I am getting error. The error is name error. It means the tuple has been deleted from the memory completely. After that, we are trying to access the tuple by specifying the name. Now that name is not existing in the memory. Because of that, we are getting this particular error. We can convert list and string into tuple by calling the tuple constructor. So here there is a list 1 and I am going to convert this into tuple by calling the constructor tuple by passing list 1 as an argument. It is going to convert all the elements of this particular list into a tuple and it will return a tuple object. I am storing it in T1. When I print, I am getting 11, 12, 13 inside parentheses. That means we have converted list into tuple. Similarly, we can convert a string into tuple. Here, string 1 is an object which is initialized with programming. I'm going to convert that into tuple by calling tuple constructor by passing string 1 as argument. When T2 is printed, we are getting programming which is converted as a tuple. Each and individual element of this particular tuple is nothing but the characters inside the string programming. In this video, we have seen the basics of tuple and we have seen how the tuple is different from the list. In the next video, we will see the advantages of tuples over list